Hi everybody, Brianna Whitney here outside the courthouse. I want to go directly to our live camera just outside the steps where Kay Woodcock and Charles Vallow's brother are also talking. They also testified. This is very heavy for his family. Take a listen.
Kind of a smarty pants, not real, I don't know what word I'm looking for. I know which one I would use.
You're trying to be nice.
Right. I know which one I would use, but, so, anyway.
What did you think of her lawyering skills?
I thought she sucked.
You think she did herself any favors by being her own attorney?
Probably not. I'm sure the first day into the trial, she wished she would have had an attorney.
You think?
A real attorney, right.
Did you look at her when the verdict was read?
I could see the back of her head.
And what was there? Did you have any reaction? Did she have any reaction?
I couldn't see, but she didn't shake her head or that I saw. So.
Hey, what did you think looking at her?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Come on, Kay, your turn.
I just saw the back of her head too. I couldn't see anything, and she didn't. A lot of times during court, she'd shake her head no when she didn't agree with something being said, or she would just shake her head no, and she didn't shake her head no. So I guess that means she really did do it.
Closer to the case. Closer to the
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Sorry.
She seemed to really have a visceral reaction to you.
That's what I heard.
And when you were on the stand, what was that moment like for you?
I didn't know that she was that shaken by me being there. And then when I got off the stand, I really didn't even know what I said. And then once Jerry and my sister Susan and our friend Laura Ferris and who else was right there? And Colby was right there. And they were like, "You did so good. She was shaking like a leaf when you," and I was like, "What? No way." And it was, the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, okay. That's all I needed to know. That made my day. That of all the people she should be shaking for, and she was shaking about me, good. I was very pleased.
When the verdict was read as guilty.
What
did you feel?
Oh, just 6 years of walking the pits of hell every day, and about halfway through, I realized, okay, I'm going to make it through. But it was a long time.
Elation.
It was a long time before I got to that point. But it's still difficult, but it's okay. I'm ready to move on. It's time. We've got a 10-year-old granddaughter we're raising now, and I've got my hands full, and I'm real happy to being her grandma. So
after 6 years, does it feel real after 6 long years of walking through hell, as you mentioned?
yes, it feels real, because for about 3 years I didn't feel anything. I was totally just didn't feel anything, numb. Then I started feeling.
Does this feel like justice for Charles?
Yes, and the order in which it's happened, this was the first incident, the first murder, and then everything up in Idaho, and then so Charles would have wanted, take care of Tammy and the kids first, and get to me when they're ready. And so he would have been. He's fine, and I know that he's pleased with us, and excuse me, there's a bug. I know he's pleased with us, and I feel good.
We had a juror tell us that your testimony stuck with them. Exactly. And they even saw you after and felt like there was justice for your brother. What does that mean to hear that?
Great. Whatever I said, I struck a chord, and that's what I wanted to do. That's what I was trying to do, and I'm grateful. I mean, hey, the Lord gave us. Well, this was thrust upon us, and our lives just went into like a tornado for a long time, and then getting to say things in the first 2 trials, and then getting to speak about Charles finally, because he's been so silent. And I mean, it's just been silent where he's at. I know people thought we forgot about him, and no way, you know. And but law enforcement never stopped. Like Lori said, they didn't stop because I was right there behind with law enforcement here in Arizona, talking and saying, "What's going on now? Tell me." You know, I was in contact with them nonstop, so I knew at some point, you know, it was going to happen, and then all the other stuff, and you know, just. I'm just glad we got to. I'm just glad this is done. Now we just have to get justice for Brandon, and I will be back. I can't stay the whole time for his, but I will stay as long as I can. Kind of more towards the end of it, I guess, and because then it will truly be over. I say I've still got a little bit left before I can close my book, but when that's over, then I can close my book.
And Kay, I don't know if you noticed, I saw 2 jurors look at you as they were walking out. Did you notice that at all?
No, I didn't. I watched them walk in because I know that if they look at you when they're walking in, that's a good sign. And nobody looked at me, but I didn't see, so I didn't watch them walk out. I didn't think to look, so.
What'd you think when Lori waived aggravation? What'd you think?
I really couldn't hear her because, you know, that baby talk she does, that baby voice.
Yep.
She needs to lose that, man. But I hope she grows up in prison and learns how to talk like a woman, you know, and not a baby. But anyway.
One of the jurors, the woman with the long hair, she said that she really just wanted to give you a hug. She's like, you know, afterwards, I really just wanted to give her a hug.
You know, in Idaho, all the jurors I've met from up there, from both trials there, that was the one thing they were like, I just wanted to hug you. I just wanted to hug you. So I hope I get to meet her. I hope she reaches out to me. Nate, if anybody calls you, give them my number. And just make sure they're a real juror. And yeah, I want to talk to them. Absolutely.
I was going to say, Kay, I'm wondering if there's anything you could say to Lori at this point.
We got you, and you're not the smartest person in the room, and now it's time for you just to hide away. And well, after Brandon's trial, but you can just hide away, and everybody's going to forget about you. We'll be on our way through our life, and she'll be rotting in prison where she deserves to be.
And like Charles always used to say, love always wins.
Yeah,
So.
and oh yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, love always wins was Charles's thing, and yeah, so it does.
She described this as a family tragedy.
That is absurd. That was.
When you heard that mantra over and over again.
And calling Charles my husband, whom she was hated at the time, whom she was ready to kill him. You know, it's like, that just shows you what she's an actress. She turns on this persona and goes with it, and then boom, she turns it off, and then there's the real her, whatever the real her is. I sure never knew her.
Tell us a little bit, just for me, about Charles. You know, let's bring it back to him and his legacy.
Hey, you want to take that one?
I'm sorry, what was that?
If you could just
tell
us
them
a little
about
bit
Charles.
about Charles and his legacy, and how you want us to think about him.
He was my big brother, you know. I followed in his footsteps. I did everything he did. He was only a year and 2 months older than me. So we hung around a lot. We had a lot of the same friends. He was a big influence in my life. And he was just a good dude. He was, all the way from a kid till when she killed him. So, you know.
What did it mean to hug Trina Kay at the end? What did that feel like? To hear the verdict and then give her a hug?
Well, I hugged her and told her I loved her because she did such a great job. and it
Yeah.
felt good. It did.
And she did do a great job. And all the detectives and everybody that has worked on this case, from Nicole Byer to she's our victim advocate, and Trina and Nate Duncan and all the detectives that have come, and even we had a few visitors from Idaho that came, and that was welcome. And I got a thank you from, not a thank you, I got a congratulations from Rob Wood, from the prosecutor in Idaho a while ago. And we have gained, we lost some dear family. We lost a lot, but we have gained family as well. So, you know, there's the silver lining. And even in the worst times of your life, there is something good there. You just take sometimes a little while to find it. But y'all, we're dying here.
And so,
Susan, do you want
Lauren?
to say anything? No, she didn't want to.
and as a parting shot, they got the bitch again. Thanks, y'all.
Okay, you guys, so that just finished with Kay Woodcock. Powerful words from her. I was listening to that live with you, right? It was all going on behind me. I think she said some pretty profound statements. One of those being, remember, Charles Vallow was the first death, the first murder in a string of different murders and deaths. And all of those happened within about a 6-month time period in 2019. The kids went missing just about 2-3 months after Charles Vallow was killed. And you heard her there say, "We gotcha," to Lori Vallow Daybell, and said she doesn't think she's nearly as smart as Lori thinks she is. She also said something else that I thought was really, really impactful. She said, Charles would have wanted Tammy Daybell and JJ and Tylee to have justice first, and he would be taken care of after that. He was the first death, but those were the first convictions, and Kay Woodcock believes that that's exactly how Charles would have wanted it, them taken care of first. She described this as 6 years of walking in the pits of hell. I think people forget and maybe just don't even realize that this was going on before the pandemic, well before the pandemic. And when you put it in that perspective, when you think about how long ago that feels to a lot of us, this family has been suffering and dealing with trials, hearings, loss, grief, mystery, searching for that amount of time. And so to finally get to this point where it was a guilty verdict, the jurors seemed to be very empathetic to Kay Woodcock. It seems that Kay Woodcock's testimony actually impacted them the most when it came to reaching their verdict. That was such a special moment for her to be able to learn that as well. And it sounds like she's open to talking to these jurors if they want to reach out, just to have some sort of conversation about this case. I think it's so emotional for those involved, not only the family, but the jurors, what they had to see, what they had to decide on. I mean, they at the time did not know that there was other convictions, so they may have felt that this was kind of like a do or die moment to keep Lori Vallow Daybell behind bars. But that was just extremely moving to be able to hear from them. Kay has been in here most of the trial, almost every day. She wasn't here for some of the time that they showed the autopsy pictures of Charles Vallow for obvious reasons. I mean, this has been a tough and heavy trial, and I think that there was a little bit of relief and joy in her voice. Like, Lori, you thought you could prove us wrong. You thought you could try to outsmart everybody and be your own attorney and actually possibly win this case. And Kay Woodcock is here to say, no, you aren't. This was proven by the prosecution. She made a great deal of effort to thank Trina Kay, the prosecutor, and also Nathan Duncan. Just a little note on Nathan Duncan. He is the current case agent on this, took over the case in June of 2020. He has been sitting right next to Trina Kay, right front and center of this whole trial, and then he got up there and testified about all those very important text messages that seemed to be what the jury really held on to in the end. So I think that this kind of listening to everybody take a deep breath after what happened today and really over the past 2.5 almost weeks, to come out here and say, we feel like we got justice. Now, obviously, we have one more trial coming up, but to feel that there was justice for Charles Vallow, who was the very, very beginning of this entire saga that has really taken the nation by storm by people paying attention. That is so important, and of course everybody has paid attention to this, but no more than Charles Vallow and Lori Vallow's family members who have had to live this in real time. And I thought it was interesting too that Kay described that Lori had no audible reaction when this verdict was read, so she took that to mean that she knew she did it and really had no emotional response to that. But then she started stipulating the aggravation phase, and that's where it kind of gets important here. So of next steps, what comes next, they were supposed to enter into the sentencing phase where the jury would have heard from Kay Woodcock again, but it was clear Lori did not want that to happen. So she told the judge she agrees that there are aggravating factors, that there was a deadly weapon, that this caused emotional harm, and that there was an accomplice to this case, to this crime. And so now the judge will take that into account. He will decide if there's more factors that should up the sentence, and then she'll get a sentence for this after the trial with Brandon Boudreaux. That was Lori's choice, and it seems that Kay Woodcock really affected Lori Vallow Daybell in this trial, so much so that Lori did not want to hear from her again. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
Wow. Woo. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. One of the, Brianna, you had mentioned one of the profound statements that Kay had made. One that I thought of was when she said, you know, we lost so much, but if there is a silver lining in all of this, we gained a lot of love from other people who you may not have expected, especially the jurors too, with her saying, look, you know, if you want to reach out, I'll be more than happy to speak with you. And I found it interesting, you know, we kind of got a cackle out of it. She still had her humor with you through all of this, saying, make sure it's a juror who you give my number to. But to have that lightheartedness, if you will, for lack of better term right now, through all of this hell that they have been put through.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that that's something they've had to latch onto, because if you really get into the weeds about it, this is one of the most tragic cases. At the end of the day, Kay also lost her grandson, JJ Vallow, and that was extremely devastating in all of this. Then you also talk about losing her own brother, but I think they knew that Charles would want them to go on, be strong for them, but they, at their heart, are funny people. They have humor, and they want that human connection. So I think for them, not only gaining the support of their own communities where they live, but the community here in Arizona, the jurors that were selected for this case, everybody covering the case, and even members of the public who just wanted to come out and support this family to see justice for Charles Vallow. I think that really made an impact on Kay Woodcock, and you could see it there that she is coming out here emotional, it's heavy, but she has a smile on her face, she feels relief, and most importantly, they feel they got justice for Charles.
And you nailed it. It was emotional for both sides. A sense of relief is what we felt from the family, but more importantly, and what I felt was overwhelming, was the jurors and the information overload that they had during the trial and even afterwards. So their heads are still going to be spinning long after this is over, because it was just a lot to take in for anybody.
Well, and you think about the fact, too, that all of us have been privy to some of this information, a lot of this information for 6 years. This jury was hearing some of it, just a portion of it, for the first time ever. I think one of the jurors mentioned that they were getting on the shuttle, and this was probably going to be a topic of conversation. Like, how much did they learn after they got out of that deliberation room and made the verdict was probably even more so than they may have learned just in this case alone, because this case is just one part of this web of deaths and murders.
A lot to take in for sure. Brianna, great work out there. Thank you so much. And you can take a sigh.
Thanks.
You can relax now as well. All right, stick with us. Stick with Arizona's family.